JAGUAR stands for Joint Air-to-Ground UAV Architecture. So I guess the big picture with our project is we're teaming up with a senior design team from the Mechanical and Aerospace Department, Dr. Landrum's Design Build Fly class. They're designing this UAV system with a blimp airship and a quadcopter that docks to it. The goal is for the blimp and quadcopter to fly out to some remote location and have the quadcopter deploy and perform some task. And then after that task is complete, the quadcopter will come back and dock to the airship whenever it needs to charge. So JAGUAR, which is our project specifically, is pretty much everything digital related to the project. That includes the communication, which is serial data through radios, as well as IP data to the ground station. The other component is flight control software. Most of the flight control software that we modified was for the airship, but we also did a little bit for the quadcopter. Let's look at our requirements. That includes the airship must be able to deploy the quadcopter has to be able to dock to the airship. The aircraft should be controlled by the APM, and then the communications need to be able to be routed through the airship. So the engineering requirements that they have are that the airship should be able to communicate at least 300 feet away. The ground station should be able to communicate with the airship at least a mile away. Users should be able to override the ground station control with the remote control, which is this right here. And then the XBs would be used for radio communication.
On the rotorcraft, we have 4 motors that hook up to your autopilot. It's running ArduCopter code, which basically handles the stabilization, and because it has an IMU on it, so it does some calculations, and then it communicates back out through a serial link to the XBs. Then on the airship, you have another XB, which has the ability to send data back and forth through the air. This one's a 900 megahertz one. You have an ArduPilot, which is we'll talk about a little bit what we did on that. And it hooks up to the 7 different motors that actually control the blimp, make it go forward, backwards, anti-lift, all that. And we also have a line that works the servo that does the docking and undocking. And then on the ground station, we have the information coming through the air, back into the XBs. The XBs take it and put it serially into the Beagle bone, which then does a transformation into UDP server packets and sends it out a router so that you can have several different PCs hooked up to it at once.